Hello and welcome back to the show. I'm Tom Christiano. Well, tonight we have a wonderful panel of small business owners. This is our second small business special, and we have 5 Chelmsford small business owners to talk about everything about their businesses, how they started them, and what their plans are for the future. And so with me tonight we have Joe Reddy. How are you, Joe?
I'm doing great, Tom. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being here, Joe. It's your 3rd time on the show. And first time is Reddy Real Estate, I think, basically talking all about Reddy Real Estate.
Absolutely.
And you're the broker/owner of Reddy Real Estate, right?
Yep, I'm the broker-owner of Reddy Real Estate in North Chelmsford. We do residential and commercial real estate for people here in the area.
Nice, and we'll talk all about it later in the show. How many employees do you have?
Well, we have a number of agents. We have 8 agents that work for us, and then we have 1 employee that's an assistant that does all of our marketing and things like that. So.
Wow, that's fantastic. So there's 9 total people. Yeah. 9 plus yourself, maybe 10. Right. That's fantastic. So. Well, thanks, Joe. And we have my friend Steve Mallette with us tonight. How are you, Steve?
Great, Tom. How are you?
Good. Steve used to be on my show like once or twice a year, and then in 2001, Steve bought a second home in Florida with his wife, Judy, right?
It was sort of that and the whole jail thing that I went through.
Yeah, right. Because Steve hasn't been on
when
the
you
show.
get 5 to 7, you go away.
That's where it was, because I hadn't seen you for a while until lately. Now I'm seeing you a lot.
We're back, we're getting a little more back involved. As you know, my wife was on the school committee for a lot of years. We got very involved, and when she stopped doing that, it's time for other people to take on those things, and we did. And we have grandchildren now, so we're more based. But I've been working here in Chelmsford. I own 2 businesses, but my primary business is New England Medical Insurance Agency, and we do corporate health insurance for small and medium-sized businesses. Been doing it for 32 years. Love what I do. A lot of my clients have become my best friends. And then from that, we spun off a compliance business, because every employer who has a group health plan has to have certain documents and certain notices that they have to give to employees. And it's almost impossible to keep up with it. So we do that for them and provide them with all the necessary things they need to be compliant with ERISA and Section 125 of the IRS code, things businesses need.
Well, and maybe later on in the show we'll talk about the effect of Obamacare upon your company and maybe other companies as well. So thanks, Jeff. Steve, this is your 13th time on the show.
Lucky number.
So yeah, you're lucky. My last show there was somebody, Sue Carter, it was her 13th time as well, and it went well. There was no lights falling on or
Actually,
anything.
13. Really, 13's our lucky number. I live at 13 Wedgwood Drive.
You do 13 Wedgwood.
And I have golf balls made up, and then the number on the golf ball is 13.
Oh my God! So this is going to be a special show for you, I hope. We're gonna get hopefully a lot of additional business for you somehow with business people maybe watching. And Steve, so you mentioned a little bit. Your wife was a school committee member for a long time, Judy. You were a library trustee, town meeting rep. In fact, you were on Dennis Reddy's show for a long time, and Victor Freitas's and everything. Yeah. So, but then like I said, I didn't see you too much for a while because you had another house in Florida, and your wife was no longer on the school committee. But it's great to have you back on the show, Steve. And we'll talk all about your businesses later on.
Alrighty.
Great, thanks. And we have for the first time on the show, Cathy Ribeck. How are you, Cathy?
I'm good. How are you, Tom?
Good, thanks. And Cathy is the owner of Rufina's Restaurant here in Chelmsford, located on Concord Road.
Right, 170 Concord Road. We're south of the center off of Route 4. Stay to the fork at the Triangle Service Center, because nobody seems to know how to get out there. We just had the sinkhole.
On Boston Road, right? Yeah. Did that affect your business at all?
I think a little bit. People get that far, and then all of a sudden you got a 10-minute, detour taking you out around Mill Road and Turnpike and all that. It kind of played a little havoc. People getting lost.
Well, just to if somebody doesn't know, Rufina's was the old Vincenzo's restaurant.
Yes.
Where like 20-something years or 30 or whatever. Yeah. It was Vincenzo's.
It was 30 years Vincenzo's was there, yeah.
And you actually worked with him for...
I worked for Vinny for 16 years.
16 years, wow. Yep. Then I remember when you took over. I don't remember the exact date, but what has it been?
Coming up on the anniversary, May 17th.
How many years?
3.
3 already. Wow,
yeah,
May 17th.
Time flies.
That's fantastic. So we'll have to talk to you later about how everything's going, and
sure.
Hopefully we'll get everybody out there ASAP.
Absolutely. The sooner the better. Now.
To eat more of that
now
delicious
we're open.
Italian food. Yeah. thanks, Cathy,
Thank
for being
you.
here.
Thanks for having me.
And we also have the first time in the show. I got to get your husband's name. Allison Chase Bartolini, right?
Yes, he's pronounced it correctly, yes.
I like it. Is it Italian?
Thank you. It's very Italian.
Nice. I love that, Allison. Chase is an Italian, though, right? But I don't know. I don't know. But
We don't have to tell him that. We'll keep that to ourselves.
Well, Allison is the one who gave me the idea for this small business show because
did.
Allison is moving her cut to the chase hair salon business into Chelmsford Center, where Markus and Leslie used to be, right in the center of town, right, Allison?
Yep, 37 Central Square. It's right next to Fishbones. Michael's
Nice.
Upholstery was there for quite some time, too.
Oh, that's right, before then, yes. So it's right there in the center of town. Hopefully it's going to increase your business exponentially to be so visible right in the center
I
of
hope
town.
so. That's the exciting part about moving there. We have a lot of foot traffic, and it's just wonderful to finally be able to be in Chelmsford since I grew up here and my family's here, and it'll be nice to be part of the business community.
I'm so glad you're back into Chelmsford. And
I'm excited
so you're moving in now, right? I saw you moving in some things a couple of days ago.
Yep, it's been kind of a long process because you're not allowed to transfer licenses. You have to apply for a brand new one, so it's kind of a lengthy process. So hopefully we'll be in within the next week and a half, 2 weeks, and we'll be open for business in the Chelmsford location.
Wonderful. We can have 2 weeks. I can go for a haircut, right?
Of course you can. All that hair you have.
Yeah, right. Well, thanks for being here, Allison.
Thank you so
and
much for having
hopefully
me.
this will work out well, just the way we planned for the
Yes.
small business, all the small
Yes.
businesses.
I hope it works out for everyone.
Yes, yeah. And right across the street from you is where Roberta Witts' company is. Picture yourself, exclamation point, right?
Exclamation point.
Framing and a gallery, framing shop and gallery,
That's
right?
correct.
So it's wonderful. So Roberta, how long have you had your shop?
Well, actually, we've been in Chelmsford over 30 years as well.
Wow.
We originally were over on Summer Street, and it started out as a do-it-yourself picture framing shop. But as the years went by and people got busier, they preferred that we did the work. And once they saw how involved some of the projects can be, they were like, all right, now I understand. I understand, the cost and the quality that you get when you have something custom framed.
Yes, and you do a beautiful job.
Thank you.
You gave a presentation to the Chelmsford Art Society maybe 6 months ago, something like that.
A few months ago, yes.
And it was great.
Yes, thank
You're a
you.
wonderful framer. You gave us all this advice on how to preserve and protect our artwork. And
Absolutely. I mean, that's really the goal of our shop, is to help people enhance the work that they bring in and add value to them and hopefully enjoy it for generations even. I mean, we do a lot of military things or, personal mementos and assorted things like that, needlework. So we're very proud of the work we do.
yes, I saw one of your pieces, speaking of military. You have, what was the old, the ship out in Boston Harbor?
Yes, the Constitution,
Constitution, you have a
actually.
piece of that in
Yes.
the frame and some other big document or whatever.
Yes, one of our clients there, I think grandfather, was one of the engineers who was illustrating how to restore the Constitution back in the early 50s. And he had drawn all these pieces and parts and actually had some of the wood from the ship itself and a couple of nails. So we incorporated those mementos in with a copy, a reproduction of his drawing. It was very special, very poignant moment for me too, to work on something that important, big part of our history.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You do a wonderful job,
Thank you.
Roberta.
Thank you.
And it's also your first time on the show, so
Yes.
hopefully it's going to be a lot
Well,
of fun.
thank you for having me. I appreciate
Thanks.
it.
And I don't know if I made it clear, but you're right next to the Chelmsford gift shop.
That's correct.
Right next door.
And right across from Cut to the
Right
Chase.
across cut to the chase. And they just go down the street and you get to
Get to
Rufina's
Rufina's.
place. at
Yeah,
Concord
right.
Road.
No, we're all
And
start
right-
in North Chelmsford,
And her
come-
Italian husband can come for dinner.
We do often.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a great place. Well, thank you, Roberta.
Thank you.
And maybe if we could start with Joe Reddy and talk a little bit in more detail about Reddy Real Estate, when you started it, why you started it, how it's going.
Yep. So I started Ready Real Estate in 2010 and moved into North Chelmsford. We actually later renovated out about 1,700 square feet of mill space up in the old mill buildings. Actually, just really good high ceilings, nice space to be in. We started the company because we wanted to focus specifically on our clients and offer them more marketing power that was designed specifically to help them sell their houses or sell their commercial buildings. And I think we've done a good job at branding ourselves and keeping ourselves local and making sure that people know that we service Chelmsford first and foremost, and then branch out from there. So,
yes, nice.
and you'll see right now the spring market's coming on, and there is very few homes for sale and very many buyers out there. So, if people are thinking about selling their home, now is the time to get it on the market, because you'll see a lot of activity and hopefully get a really good price for it. So.
And how are the mortgage rates right now, Joe? They're still very
good. Yeah,
good,
they're
aren't
still
they?
holding very good. In the fours. I mean, I don't know what the regulatory guidelines are, but certainly we can hook you up with somebody that can help you with financing as well. So if you're looking to buy a home, one of the components is getting a mortgage, and things are very good right now. So hopefully the feds keep it there.
Wonderful. And you're located in North Chelmsford, you said, right? Is it
Yeah,
on Middlesex?
I don't know if you've ever been Brickhouse Pizza in North Chelmsford. We're actually right next door to them.
Nice.
So, it's been a great location, easy for people to get to us. I like having my business up in North Chelmsford. I originally lived in North Chelmsford for a couple of years before I moved to the center of town. And, I decided to just keep the business there for now, and, we'll see where the future takes us.
Wonderful.
So.
And one of the people who worked with you, of course, was your father, Dennis Freddy.
Yeah.
Could you let us know how he's doing, Joe?
He's doing great. He's actually a big part of the company. It's, I certainly have a number of family members that work with me. My mother, Donna, she's been doing real estate, for over 20-something years. My father as well.
Yeah.
My Uncle Bernie's been doing it for 30 years. So they're part of the Ready team. They come in every day, and, they work on their own set of business that they have. My father's been very good at, generating business for the company, just through his friends, family, and network that he has. And even though he's, had some tough times, I would say physically, he still, mentally would like to try to be there. So hopefully in the next couple of months he'll be able to acclimate out. So we'll see.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
So.
Gee. Well, thank you very much. So we'll talk more about
Absolutely.
the business later on. Steve, could you tell us a little bit more about your businesses?
Ken, one thing I want to
and
say
maybe-
about Joe's business, though.
Yeah.
I've done business with Joe's mom and dad, and with Joe, I think we've done over 20 real estate transactions with them and never sold my own home.
Wow.
Between everything we've bought and sold over the years, and commercial
Really?
properties and rental properties, and actually even the home we built in Florida, Donna and Dennis helped us get the realtor for that, so
Really?
they got something on that, and
Wow,
that's the way it works.
About 20. I didn't know you were so active in real estate.
That's why I've been around. I've been, and I do when I when I had a lot of property. I mean, I managed it all myself and my wife. My wife would manage all the money side and getting them rented, but I was hands-on to fix them and do all that. I love, I push paper all day, so I love to work with my hands, and I'm. I'm a little bit gifted in that way, so I'm able to do a lot of that stuff myself. So
In fact,
it worked well.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, and I may not, you might have said that when your daughter was going to college, that you bought a condominium so that it would be an investment rather than
Right.
paying rent. And then, so how did that work
Bought
out?
several-
If it's true,
bought several out there.
Several. Oh, so how did it work out?
It worked out fantastic because
Wonderful.
that was also a time back in the late 90s, early 2000s where real estate really took off.
Yeah.
So it was a great way for us to do it. It taught my girls. They were the ones that managed the properties.
Yeah.
They made sure that we had renters. And one of the things we did do though is we didn't rent to kids. We rented to their parents. So the kids were never on the hook to pay the money.
Yeah.
The parents were.
Oh, good idea.
You know, and the parents liked the idea that we were there.
Yes.
That actual adults were going, especially renting to girls. The parents want to know if the girl's going to live off campus, she's living in housing that's decent, is not going to be broken down, is going to be secure, and
Yes.
that's the environment that we provided for a premium price. And when we sold them, we got premium prices for them.
That's fantastic. So you probably made some money on
couple
those
of dollars,
condos. That's good. Yeah.
Try not to lose. That's
Yeah.
And I've lost money in real estate too. You can lose.
Oh,
It
yeah,
isn't all
yeah.
what you see on TV where the guy flips it over and makes all this money.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times you run into problems and you don't get your money out.
Oh, that's for sure.
So it can happen both
Yeah.
ways.
Right.
But I think that all has to do with, and I managed my insurance businesses while we were doing that too. And that's, what all of us here have is I call it the entrepreneurial spirit, is being able to decide you don't want to work for corporate America.
Right. Yeah.
I just had a really good friend of mine who works for corporate America, was laid off today, out of the blue. You know, if you work for yourself and work on, you never get laid off.
Right.
And what you create for yourself and your family.
Yes.
Or for your employees. I have 7 employees. I mean, I feel very, as a business owner, I feel very responsible for their welfare.
Yes.
I'm myself and my son-in-law, and I have my partner for many years is still working with me now. I mean, we have very few people that bring in money, but we have all these families that rely on us to bring that money in week to week, month to month,
Yes.
to pay their salaries.
How many employees do you have?
I have
Steve?
7 total.
7, wonderful.
So, and they just really back us up in service. You know, insurance, especially health insurance, it's all about the service. When someone has a problem, doesn't understand something, we don't want them to call, don't call the insurance company, call us. We'll call people in the insurance company that they can never get to and get things resolved much, much faster. For the employer on the administrative side, but also we actually get down to the employees call us. We have 2 people that work, you know, 40 hours a week, and all they do is help employees out with problems or help them navigate through the healthcare world.
Nice.
You know, we insure over 10,000 people, so
You do?
know, within
With your
companies,
company? Yeah.
with company, you know, within all
Within
the
the
companies we do
companies,
business with,
wow.
it's about 10 to 12,000 people that we insure, and inevitably they're going to have problems.
Yes, so I could imagine.
So
That
we
must
help
keep
them
you
out.
busy. So
It
a lot
does.
of your employees are answer the phones and try to help them through these problems?
It's really service.
Wow.
That's what because in the insurance world, many people don't know, in the smaller groups, 50 and under.
Yeah.
This is the one Obamacare has really, you know, pulled. I don't like to call it Obamacare. I call it
Okay.
the Affordable Care Act. You know, I think the under 50 groups, and especially the under 10 groups, they're being hit the hardest by some of these rate increases. And we try to make sure we go out and not only educate the employer, but when we do employee meetings, we educate the employees as to why did your rate go up, or why did your rate go down?
Yeah.
Some rates did come down.
Yeah.
You know, it all depends on a lot of different factors. And if you get, and some companies get that perfect storm where they hit every single category in the negative way, their rate can go way, way up.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay? And it all has to do with new regulation, new fees, new taxes, all things like that.
Yes.
So, you know, it's a major, you know, it's the second largest expense for most companies after salaries. So trying to keep those costs, you know, try to keep them down or keep them where the balance between what kind of benefits we give and what money we can afford,
Yes.
that's where I am in helping employers do that.
Yes.
And all the new regulations. Then, of course, they're being put off, they're changing. We get everything all set to go, and then the government comes in and says, well, we're going to put that off for another year.
Yes.
Okay, we'll put it off for another year. Still going to happen, just maybe a year out.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I read an article yesterday in the Daily Beast about doctors, and I didn't know this, but it said doctors have just about the highest suicide rate amongst the population, percentage-wise. You know, per 100,000, it was like almost 2. You know, and there were some other professions there, but it was like 9 out of the 10 doctors were dissatisfied and unhappy. But one thing that I was very surprised about was that the actual cost, it's at the process, a patient that comes in for a visit or whatever, $50 worth of paperwork costs for every patient that comes in. So do you?
well, they're trying to, and that may be true in some areas. When you read these type of things, you have to look at where they're talking about.
Yeah.
Because here in the Northeast, we are pretty much automated. Claims are automated. Every doctor's office, hospital, they do have phenomenal amounts of paperwork they have to do.
Yes.
And it may not be, when they say paper, it may not actually be paper. It
Oh,
may be
no.
keying in on a computer.
that's what I meant.
But
Yeah,
the claims
yeah, that-
processes now are all automated. Years ago, when people started to go over onto HMOs, the whole thing about being able to get a referral to a specialist, that's all done behind the scenes now. There's no paper referrals anymore. The doctor just keys it in, hits the button, and the referral goes. You know, HMOs are here. They're here to stay. I went through that whole process of going into HMOs and watching them build up, where everything was paid for $5 or $2, and now the average plan now has a $1,000 deductible on it. So if you're on a plan that has less than $1,000 deductible, you have got the Cadillac of Cadillac plans.
Wow.
The government, as you know, they have different bands now: platinum, gold, silver, bronze. Those are the levels. $1,000 deductible is still considered a gold plan.
Wow.
$1,500 deductible is a gold plan. They consider that the gold standard. You know,
Well,
and it's very easy. You know, you go to an emergency room once, you're going to run up more than $1,000.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Very easy.
It's too bad our healthcare costs have gone up so much in the last 30 years, I think. I feel very bad for the young people, you know, who...
I can remember, Tom,
Because when I was young, it was much, much cheaper, and
Well, I
you
can
didn't even
remember
have
when
to think
single
about it.
rates were $50 and family rates were $200.
Yeah,
And we thought if it ever went over $200, who could afford this?
yeah.
And now it's not uncommon to see $2,000
Yes.
for a family rate.
Yeah. Yeah, you were telling me before the show, maybe
But
even...
I talk about all the time to employers that we talk about the ABCs of health insurance. There's access, benefits, and cost. And if you want to affect cost, you either have to change the access you have to either a smaller doctor network or something like that, or you have to change the benefits. So you've got the access and the benefits are the only things, and that blend is going to make what the cost is. And that hasn't changed for 50 years. And it's
Yeah.
like that in most businesses, really.
Yes.
You know, so
Well,
that's, you know, it's a tough business because you're playing with employees' money, you're playing with employers' money, and most employers, especially small employers like us, if you save money, that drops right to the bottom line. So if I can come in and help an employer save $10,000, $15,000, sometimes $100,000,
Yes.
that drops right to the bottom line.
Yeah.
Okay, and they can use that to either give out more salaries or, you know, lessen the employee's burden and things like that.
Yeah.
So it does have a good effect on a lot of clients,
Yeah.
but it also has an adverse effect.
Yes, thanks, Steve. Well, maybe if I could talk to Cathy for a minute, and since we're talking about health insurance, maybe if you could talk a little bit about this Affordable Care Act and if it affected your business and.
For the restaurant business, I think it's a little bit different because, I mean, I have 19 employees just about all the time, but there are very few people that require or get health insurance through me, through the business. I mean, I do carry health insurance, but there's only a few of us because most people are married and it's their second job, or they're young kids and they're still on family plans, or they just choose not to get it, and I don't know what they do from there. They, you know, I mean, I have to offer it. It's a law that you have to offer it, but whether you take it or not is totally up to you. But he's right. I mean, the cost of health insurance is crazy. I mean, a single person, even on a lower rate, I mean, we're paying $500 a person.
Yes.
You know, and it's crazy. I mean, people struggle to be able to afford to pay for
That's
it.
for sure. Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of people choose not to take it, especially since we're not doing it in the masses. I mean, there's only a few of us that are on there. I think it changes the rate a lot too. But
Yes. Yeah. Well, maybe could you tell us more about Rufina's and like what are your hours now? I know you're not open every day for lunch, right?
Right.
Unfortunately, because I
Right.
wish you were.
we do Thursday and Friday lunch.
Thursday and Friday lunch.
Yeah, and those were sinkhole days, so that they seem to like to pave and do all the work on Thursday and Friday. I don't know why, but anyways, we're open Thursday and Friday for lunch, 11:30 to 2:30, and then we do 6 nights. We're closed on Mondays unless somebody books a function, but other than that, we do 6 nights.
6 nights.
Yeah, Tuesday through Saturday we open at 5, and then Sundays we do 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so you close Mondays. That's a day for everybody to rest a
Yeah,
little bit.
gives everybody a break, and we
Yeah,
just all
nice.
kind of go home and, you know, because I mean, even though you have 19 employees, there's about 6 of us there that are there constantly. You
Oh,
know, we're
yeah.
more like family. I see them more than I see my own
Wow.
family and my grandchildren and whatnot. I mean, we're there all day long, all night long together, you know, and we know more about each other than we probably should. But
So
it's like having family. I mean, most
Oh,
of them
yeah.
have been there. A lot of them are people that were at Vincenzo's, you know, and they
Yes.
stayed with me, and you know, thank God they did, because they're great people. They're hard workers, and they're dedicated, and they'd do anything to help me make that business work, you know. so.
Wonderful. And so you have lunch on Thursdays and Fridays, but not Saturdays or
No,
Sundays?
no, we do a lot of
Could-
functions, though. Like right now,
Oh.
we're into the season where we're doing, you know, christenings and confirmation seasons coming, First Communion season. I have a ton of stuff on Saturdays and Sundays for the next few weeks because,
Yeah.
you know, First Communions.
Oh,
And then we'll
yeah.
get into graduations and whatnot. But
Yeah.
we do a lot of catering, so June, you know,
Oh,
with
nice.
with you know, high school graduations, we get a lot of business on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, just doing that, so.
Does somebody deliver if they have a
We will,
catering
yeah.
order?
Yep,
You
we can
will
go out and
if
deliver,
you-
yeah, go out,
Nice.
set it all up, bring it in, you know, we have those big Cambros, we call them hot boxes, and load everything into it, take it to your house, or if you're renting a hall or whatever, set it up, deliver it, we have the chafing dishes and whatnot, and then if need be, we'll pick it up again from you the next day. Most people come back and return their own things, but yeah,
Nice.
it's, when it's the season, it's a great business for that, and it's profitable, you know, because you're not,
Yeah.
you know, you're not putting the lights on in the restaurant, you're just going in and making food and putting it out.
Oh, it must be great. Do you do a lot of, a big catering business, or what
We-
percentage of your business would you say is catering?
I wouldn't say more than like 15% of it, but it's just the season. It's seasonal. I mean,
Yeah.
Christmas time, you get it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everybody wants to do something at home, but they don't want to have to cook everything. And then, you know, like I said, right now with June, you know, high school graduation and all the, you know, we did a lot of showers in the month of February, a lot of baby showers, bridal showers. So,
Nice.
you know, we have the room that'll hold, you know, 60 people. And then what we do is
60?
Yeah, I mean, you've been there, so you know
Yeah.
the rooms are joined by archways. So we do a
Yeah.
buffet in one room, and they can just kind of walk through and then go in and sit. And
Nice.
yeah.
And I love your restaurant, by the way. It's, I think, one of the most beautifully appointed in Chelmsford, with the paintings. Marcus did them,
Marcus
from
did
Markus
them.
and
Yeah,
Leslie.
yeah.
And he did. And it used to be a George O'Keeffe room. Do you still have
Yes,
it?
yep.
And a John Singer Sargent room, two of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
And
I have all-
then
I
you
ha-
changed things around a little bit, maybe.
I did,
recent-
yeah. I took, the middle room used to be the George O'Keeffe
O'Keeffe
room,
room,
so I moved that into the red room because I loved that big painting, the Spanish dance,
Yeah.
that was in the, used to be in the
Red-
red room.
yeah.
And I wanted it in the bar, I wanted it to be in there as soon as you
Nice.
walked in, so I moved that, and then
Nice.
that sergeant room kind of came apart. But we have other things, everything in there is Marcus, pretty much.
Yeah, so he did a great job
Yeah.
for you, I think, and that was nice of you to buy all those paintings from him.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, they came when I bought the restaurant, they came as part of the package
Oh,
because
good,
they were
yeah.
already there, we
Already
just
there,
moved
yeah.
everything around, yeah.
In fact, I hope Markus and Leslie still do well with. They're moving out of where Allison is moving into.
Yeah.
And I guess they're going to work out of their homes. They've
Oh.
done a lot of paintings on murals on walls and things like that. And you could work out of your home when you do things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, and they do a lot of these classes, the wine classes, you know, go in
Right.
with a glass of
The
wine.
paint parties and stuff?
Paint parties, yeah.
Those sound awesome.
So are you there when it's open all the time,
All the
Cathy?
time.
Wow.
All
So
the
how
time.
many hours a week is that approximately? Did you ever
I
add
probably
them up?
shouldn't say it on TV. Probably about 70. Yeah,
About 70,
I'm there a
wow.
lot. I'm
Are
there.
you exhausted all the time then? or-
No,
I
not
hate
all the
to say it,
time.
but
I mean,
you must be-
I kind of went from out front into the kitchen. I mean, I still do a lot of my own book work and whatnot, just trying to, when you're a new business, and, you know, 3
Yeah.
years is still new, you know, and you have
Yeah.
business loans that you're paying off, and,
Yeah.
you know, I think everybody that's in the restaurant business, or even any small business, had a tough winter once Christmas passed with the weather, and, I mean, the
Yes.
snowstorms
Oh, it
didn't
was
help, and the
terrible,
cold
yeah.
weather, and, you know, people, you had to close, you know, get off the roads, so, you know, thanks, Governor. But, you know, so once everybody shuts things down, people won't come out. So
Yes,
we had a
yeah.
tough time for a while there over
Wow.
the, you know, January and February, so.
And what do you do, Cathy, when you're there? Are you more like the maitre d', or you greet everyone? Or
No.
did you say you were in the
Not
kitchen
anymore.
as well?
I did it. Well, I did it for 16 years for Vinny. I was the general manager, and then when I opened up, I was doing it, and I don't know, just got involved in the kitchen. Need be. I think you had to learn everything, because if you have somebody out, you have to know what you're doing.
Yes.
And I just ended up migrating back there, and I don't know, I hate to say it, I actually like it.
Yeah, so you're
You
in
know,
the-
I like to come out though and
Oh,
visit.
yeah.
I mean, if people are out there, I'm
Yeah.
always trying to sneak out the door and say hello.
I
And
think you always do when I come
But,
in, and
yeah.
everything was nice.
yeah.
So you do, are you saying you do some of the cooking, or all
I
of
do all, I shouldn't
Oh.
say I do all the cooking. I am the
Okay.
saute end, which is everything that
Yeah.
goes into a pan. My daughter works for me.
Oh, nice.
She does all my baking. She does all the desserts, because everything's
bake
homemade.
your own desserts?
Oh yeah, everything
Wow.
except for the cannoli shell, yeah.
Wow.
So she
that's
does all the
amazing.
baking and the dressings and all that, because everything's homemade. So
Great.
there's like 4 or 5 hours a day every day before the door even opens. That's just prep work. So there's
Oh,
a lot
really?
involved.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
and baking things, like baking those
Yeah.
things, getting everything ready?
Yeah.
Jeez, 4
Yeah,
or 5 hours.
she does a phenomenal job. I'm so happy that I think we've bonded more that we have our entire lives doing this. So
Is
it's,
this going to be her career, do you
I
think?
don't
you
know.
think?
I don't know. I
Oh,
mean, she's 30.
she's
you know,
30,
she's
yeah.
been with me now since the year, after I was open a year, she came on, and
So 2 years ago,
yeah.
then she came on.
yeah. She
And
likes it.
is she learning to cook as well, did you
Yes,
say?
yes, yeah, so I can
And,
go on vacation.
That's wonderful. Yeah, hopefully.
No,
So
she's-
generally, are you doing well, Rufina? Or you don't have to say, but I mean, are things going
You know,
well?
it does okay. It holds its own. It's like I said, it's any new business. You've got to, you know, you got to get it under your belt. You've got loans you have to pay off, and like you were saying, you know, licenses and things. They all cost money, you know, and they're a yearly thing, and you have to keep other things up to date. You have to be tip certified. You have to have your,
Every
you know,
year?
your serve safe. Well,
Oh.
tips is every few years.
Every
Serve
few
safe
years,
is
yeah.
every 5 years. So you know, it's all the things that are combined, you know, and the staff has to be tip certified and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's constant. You know, there's constantly money moving around, and insurance is expensive. You know, liability and your workers' comp and all that. I mean, it's all costly. So it all factors in, especially when you're, you know, new to it. So.
And how many employees do you have? Oh, you
About
mentioned
19,
before.
yeah, about 19. Yeah, mostly
And
a lot of them are part-timers. There's about 5 of us that
Nice.
are full-time.
5 full-times, wow.
Yeah.
And then you have a beautiful bar area there too. How does that do? That must be a
bar
good
area
profit
is-
center,
yeah,
right?
the bar area works great. I mean, like,
Good,
you
good.
could walk in there on a Tuesday, Wednesday night, and the bar is already full.
Wow.
There might be a few people in the dining room. People come right in and migrate right there, and that's it.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah, so
Wow.
it does well. The bar does very well. And like I said, we've been doing a lot of things on the weekends, you know,
All those
functions and
things,
whatnot.
yeah.
We just did, I was telling Joe, we just did Jeff Bowman's book signing. He did the book signing for the book Stronger that he just wrote up at Costco.
Yeah.
So they were in on Saturday. They had 35 of
Afterwards,
them.
you mean?
Yeah, after the
Book
after
signing?
the book signing, they all came to Rufina's because
Who came over other than
oh,
Jeff?
family and some
Family
friends,
That's
and yeah,
wonderful.
yeah, it
wow.
was great.
It was a big success, I read.
yeah.
And he did a great job, and it looks like a very interesting book.
Yeah,
I
and
just
they,
read
they
a
said
nice
he
review.
sold like 740 books in that couple-hour
Really?
period
That's
that he was there.
fantastic.
It's crazy.
And he had a great review in the Boston Globe today, which is
I heard. I haven't
April
read it yet.
15th,
Yeah.
if you want to check it online or something. Well, thank you, Cathy. We'll talk
Thank you.
more in a minute.
Okay.
So, Allison, could you tell me all about your business? And so, how long have you been at Cut to the Chase in Billerica? That was a nice location.
It was a nice location. I've been at Cut to the Chase in Billerica. It would have been 7 years this upcoming May 30th.
7
So
years
just shy of
already.
7 years.
Because I remember when you opened it, it didn't seem 7 years ago. Remember you had a big
Time
grand
flies,
opening?
yes.
7 years, wow. It really flew by.
It really did.
And how did you enjoy those 7 years?
We've been really successful. We've had a lot of the same girls. A few, have come and gone, but we've had the core staff has been together for I want to say about 5 years.
Wow.
I have 8 girls total, not including myself, that are behind the chair styling, and I have 2 assistants and 2 women that manage the front desk area. at our
That's a
clients.
huge crew. That's 12 plus yourself. That's amazing.
So there's a good amount of us in there.
Yeah. Now, how about in the center? It looks like a smaller space, but is it?
It is. I like to refer
Okay.
to it as more intimate.
Yeah.
Not smaller. But Joe actually found me that space.
Oh, really?
Yep,
Congratulations, Joe.
He works his magic all over town.
Wow.
But yes, he did. He found me that space at Central Square. And when I first opened in Billerica, I did massage and skin and nails. So the bigger space was more appropriate for that time period. But we've since just gone down to hair, which I feel that we do best. And so moving to the space in Chelmsford is more suitable for our environment that we have now.
Nice. So how many employees are you going to have there?
All of them. Everyone's coming.
Everybody's coming. That's wonderful.
Everyone's really excited for the transition.
Nice. Did you put all the chairs in yet? The hairdressing chairs and
Everything's
place?
in. Everything's ready to go. We're just waiting to move all of our product and our tools over. But the space is pretty much done. It's beautiful.
So after the end of this month, you won't have to pay any more rent at the Billerica location,
No.
I hope. And then you started already in the Chelmsford probably this month to pay rent for there.
Yep.
And do you want to give out your phone number, email address, or anything for people to contact you if they want their hair done or something?
Yes, well, you can always find us on Facebook at Cut to the Chase Salon. And you can also call us. Our new phone number for Chelmsford is 978-244-9334. Or if you want to contact us sooner than 2 weeks, you can call us in Billerica at 978-663-0400. And our website is www.cuttothechasesalon.com.
Beautiful.
So-
You remembered all
Oh, yeah.
those numbers and everything without a hit.
All
That
those
was nice.
numbers.
Wow.
Yep. And all of our information is on our website. Prices. We do a lot of
prices on your website,
of
you've heard?
weddings and proms.
A lot of weddings?
Do
Wow.
airbrush makeup, and then
Really?
your daily maintenance sort of things, color cuts, highlights, anything.
Colors, cuts, highlights, nice.
all that good.
I
We
wish
do a
I
lot
could
of
get some of
men.
that.
So,
So, no hair implants though, right? You don't do that?
no, we do extensions.
That
but
I
not
could use.
implants.
Oh, okay.
But we do a lot.
And do you service solely females, or do you have men clients
We have a
as
lot of
well?
male
Oh, a
clientele
lot of
that
male
come
clients.
in. Mhm.
Wonderful.
Yes.
That's
They feel very comfortable with all the ladies there.
Because your father, Sam Chase, the former selectman in Chelmsford, must come in, right?
He always does. It's free. How
Wonderful.
could you not if you're Sam Chase?
It's free, right?
It's
And
free for Sam
does
Chase.
his friend John Curlin come in, our town maybe
John
not-
has come in,
He's
yes,
come in,
and his
great,
wife
wonderful.
and his children are clients of mine.
Oh,
and
that's
yeah,
wonderful.
we have a lot of local Chelmsford people that come
Nice.
in, and everyone's been really supportive. And Sam Chase promotes Cut to the Chase very well. And my
Yeah.
mother, she teaches in Chelmsford.
She's
been
still teaching? I
She's
thought she
actually
was-
going to be retiring this
Oh,
year.
this year I thought we were getting close. But
We are getting close.
wow, that must be exciting for her and her family.
We're excited. I'm excited because she's going to watch my kids. So
Yeah, which would be fantastic.
So it's
Nice.
it's sad for Chelmsford because she's a wonderful teacher and she's been a wonderful
Yes.
asset to the community. But
Oh,
it's time for
yes,
our
yeah.
family to take her back and be
Yeah.
selfish.
And you started the one in Rick about 7 years ago, the facility there. Did
I
you
did.
study this in college, or did you go to
I didn't.
Neshoba?
I didn't go to college actually. I graduated from Chelmsford High
Chelmsford
in
High?
2003, and right from there I started at Continental Academy up in Hudson,
Oh.
up in New Hampshire, and I received my cosmetology license. And I worked in Westford for 2 years, and then I was able to upgrade and apply for my Cosmo 1 license, and then I was very much encouraged to open my own business by both of my parents.
Wonderful.
And my father and my mother
Yeah.
were very supportive, and they're the
Yeah.
main reason why I've been able to be so successful, because I have the two of them that are extremely, extremely supportive.
That's wonderful.
My father is very
Wow.
knowledgeable in
Yeah.
business and accounting and money, and he's really been kind of the driving force to really launch Cut to the Chase to the next level. So I've been very blessed
That
with them,
is
with my
fantastic.
family.
And so you like it. You like what you're doing. You
I
enjoy
love what
being
I
an
do.
entrepreneur, and you're
Most days.
you're successful at very successful in the Billerica place. It was very successful.
It
at
was,
this
and
point?
I
Wonderful.
think due to the success, it was time to move on and branch out and kind of expand and gain more clientele and service the community of Chelmsford. So.
Wonderful. And you just had a baby recently, didn't you?
I did. I had my daughter Charlotte, March 20th of last year, so she just turned
my
a year.
birthday. Great.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. So
We
you and
usher in the
Charlotte share a
spring every-
birthday.
Yeah.
Yep. First day of spring, and I'm expecting again, so I'll have
That's
my
fantastic.
next in the fall.
That'll be your second one.
It'll be
in
my
the fall. That's
second, yes.
fantastic. I don't know how you do it all, Allison.
Just
I don't know how
kinda
you all do
you
it
keep
all.
going. You just kind of plow through and you move along. You
It's
don't
hard,
you don't
yeah.
blink or breathe, and you just make it happen.
It's amazing, but it's so great when you love what you do, right? I mean, then
It makes it a lot
It's-
easier.
it makes it a lot
It makes
easier,
it a
and-
lot easier.
and you seem like to be a great boss with all your employees and everything. And
Well,
you all
you have to. I mean, when you're a small business and you have a select group of people, they're really the ones that drive you to be successful. If you didn't have them as your support team, then you wouldn't be as great and as successful as you are. So it's important to be kind and gracious and appreciative of the people who do work for you, because ultimately they're the ones that create the success that you have to a certain degree. So I treasure my employees, and I'm very blessed with a great group of women. They work very hard, they're great at what they do, and they're a great part of my success.
you sound like a great person to work for. Do you need anybody?
I'd like to work for me, please.
Maybe I can sweep the floors. No, the last thing I'd want is work for somebody else. I've been kind of on my own for about 16 years now, trading stocks and that kind of thing, and I love it. I love not having anybody supervising me or whatever, to be my own boss, as they say, and I think there's nothing like it. But
you
it's
can't
very
go back.
difficult, as everybody knows. So to be an entrepreneur, to be on your own, you don't have anybody kind of sometimes backing you up if you run into problems. So it really brings out the best in you, or sometimes the worst, but you really have to be on your toes to be a successful entrepreneur, as you all are. And
just
it's a
surround
wonderful
yourself
thing.
with the right people too.
Yeah,
I mean,
for what you do. Yeah.
I've always said, the reason why I've been able to move forward and be successful is because, if I don't know the answer, I ask questions. And you ask people who know more than you, and by being around people who are more knowledgeable, you gain you know, so much
Yeah.
from their knowledge. So, I mean, you really need to be receptive to, you know, criticism and suggestions and ideas, and it really helps you propel yourself forward.
Wow, well, I think you're doing great. No, you're all doing fantastic.
you.
Thanks, Allison. Well, I'll
Thank you.
come back later, hope in a minute, or a couple of minutes. Roberta, maybe if we could talk to you a little bit more about your business, and when did you say you got it started?
I started the business in the early 80s. I purchased it. I was a business before. As I said, I think it started as the frame factory, and then another gal purchased it and made it her own. And I had worked in a few other frame shops in Chestnut Hill and in the area. And at that point, she was selling it, and my husband and I discussed it, and we said, well, I think we can do this. I think we should, you know. I felt that I offered something to it, and having an existing business was helpful too. Sometimes starting directly from scratch can be a little more difficult because people knew where we were. They were used to seeing us in town, and that was very helpful. So that made a big difference, I think, in the beginning.
Yes.
But over the years, it's just continued to grow, and it's a bit of a competition out there. There have been a lot of shops in the area that have come and gone. I don't know how anybody else feels, but it's difficult to compete with every coupon over here and every, you know, buy this and do that. That's kind of difficult. And being one small shop, we just pride ourselves in service, which everybody has mentioned, and family, and, you know, surrounding yourself with great people. And I think that's why we've managed to, you know, last as long as we have.
Yes, yeah. And did you study art in college, Roberta? Or
Yes, I was an art history major in
art
college.
history? Wonderful.
And I had a minor in studio and education. I also was exposed to a lot of preservation practices by working with the National Park Service. I have done restoration on Memorial Hall in Lowell. They have 3 large Civil War murals there up on, you know, 25-foot scaffolding. I used to climb up and down. And
Really? Wow.
I've worked in the Kennedy birthplace and the Adams in Quincy, and Vanderbilt Mansion and FDR's home in New York as well.
Wow.
But what happened was I started working at Augustus St. Gaudens estate up in New Hampshire, and all these jobs are small jobs, and once you're done with the preservation and that, you move on. And after a while, it was like a lot of chemicals and things like that too, and I had met my husband, you know, and I was like, all right, well, the next job was like Seneca Falls, New York, and I'm like, all right, this is not a weekend commute anymore. So, you know, I made a decision to stay closer to home, you know, more for relationships. So, you know, and without him, my business wouldn't be as successful either.
Does he help you full time?
No, he has a full-time job.
Oh, he does.
But he's very good with the paperwork and the numbers and things like that, and he can certainly work with the customers too. He's you know, absorbed a lot of this through osmosis. But, you know, after 35 years together, we kind of know what each other, you know, needs a little help with, or, you know, when to step back to.
Yes.
But having your own business, I think, has been useful, like working with your family and you know, being able, like with another child on the way, you can kind of control a little bit your time there and be available. You know, when our daughter was in school, it was convenient that she was also going in Chelmsford, so I could make it to a play or sometimes chaperone a trip.
Yes.
You know, and that's what I like about the small town business, and, you know, keeping it local, really.
And you have some employees there too, right? I know one of them, Ivana is it or
Ivana,
something?
yeah, she's
Ivana,
fantastic.
nice,
She's been with us over almost 20 years now.
20 years, wow.
And most of the people that I've had work for me full time have been on for quite a few years, and come and gone, you know, throughout the 30 years that we've had the shop. But and anywhere from 3 to 5 people, depending on the season, how busy we are, whether it be part timers. And I really like to try and have a high schooler there too. Keeps me up on the music, or you know,
you do have a
or she can work my computer a little better for me,
nice.
or something like that.
So you
We've
do have-
always had a teenager, a college age
nice.
kid.
And
off
they
and
help
on
with the
through
framing,
years.
I imagine, right? If
Yeah.
possible. Who does it, most of the framing?
Everything is done
Everybody does?
in-house. I mean,
Okay, yeah.
it's
So
controlled.
you do some,
Oh,
the high
absolutely.
schooler might do some?
Well, they might. I
Ivana
usually
does?
train them for at least 3 months before they touch anything that belongs to a customer.
Oh.
They literally, I have them doing other things in the shop. I says, you know, anything that comes through the door is precious to the person who's bringing it in. So I like having the young people, because then I can train them too. It's, you know, my standards, and I can see, you know, what they might have picked now if they ever worked somewhere else. You know, the adults have picked up different different traits or, you know, ways of doing things. But again, when it's your name on the door, you want things done with your reputation on the line. So it's, you know, there's a lot of supervision. There's a lot of making sure everybody is satisfied and love what they walk out with.
Yes. And what are your hours of operation, Roberta?
We're there Tuesday through Friday from 10 to 6. We're there Saturdays 10 to 4, and Thursday nights we're late till about 7 o'clock. And we tend to always be closed Sundays and Mondays. So
that's nice.
it's that Monday. And then when I go out to do something on a Monday, everybody else is closed, but that's okay.
That's nice. So it gives
But
you
we
2
need a
days
day.
to
We need a day.
A day or two?
Right.
That's nice. So you also are an artist, too. You have a couple of pieces at the Chelmsford Center for the Arts right now.
Yes.
You're a wonderful artist.
Thank you.
And also, you make these great beads. You probably made this one here,
Yes,
right?
I did. Yes, I mean,
It's fantastic.
well,
She does all these.
Well, you know, like
necklaces.
sometimes, I don't know, like sometimes you may want to go home and cook something else on your own. I know you might be cooking all
dogs,
day.
no.
But they're good hot dogs.
Yeah, they really, but the condiments are fantastic. But I think what I like about being in Chelmsford, I recently became a member of the Art Society and also have become more involved with the Center for the Arts, too, since that's reopened. And getting that creative inspiration from so many other people gets your juices going, and you know, it's you know, do something different once in a while, you know, break out of it. So being with creative people makes you creative.
And I've been seeing you more and more with the Chelmsford Art Society
Yes.
and all the exhibits at the Chelmsford Center for the Arts. And
Yes.
it's wonderful to see it because you're always so positive and uplifting and joyful.
Oh, thank you.
You're
Well,
a wonderful
artists
person.
are great people, you
Yeah,
know.
they
There's, I
are.
mean, you know,
We
what's
have some
not
nice
to
people
like?
in the Art Society, and they usually have the
You
meetings.
yourself as well.
Oh, no.
You coach all the meeting, and you're a
Oh,
very
I come to the
talented guy
meetings, but-
too.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, but thank you. But but we have our meetings the last Wednesdays of the month, usually at the Chelmsford Center for the Arts.
Yes.
We'll have another one coming up.
I believe the next one is actually
Maybe,
this coming Wednesday, and this particular one will be at the library, so that there'll be a small painting group where we create the smaller 8x10s that we sell at the 4th of July art show, and that helps raise the money for the scholarship programs that the Art
nice.
Society has, and the other things that we do in town. You know, the big 4th of July show should be a good event this summer as well,
Yes, I
with our
hope so.
own little private opening. And
Nice.
last year there was over 180 adult entries in the 4th of July show, and the quality is amazing. The talent
Yes.
around here is just phenomenal.
It is phenomenal. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have a web page for your business, Roberta?
I do. It's pictureyourselfgallery.com, but generally I would prefer that people either come in person with their work, because I just don't feel like this is the kind of thing that's a mail order
Oh, right,
project,
right.
you know. But
I meant
people,
if they had information about
there's a lot of-
hours of
oh, sure.
operation. You don't have anything on pricing there, do you? You
It's-
also have a gallery, though, don't you? An art gallery, a beautiful one.
Thank
a lot
you.
of beautiful art there.
most of the art
But-
on display is original, and I would say a good 3/4 of it are local artists that we feature
Yeah,
now
so-
in the shop.
So if somebody wants to buy a local, or look at some local art to possibly buy it, they could stop into Picture
Absolutely.
Yourself in the center of town, right next to the Chelmsford gift shop.
That's correct.
I think- well, thank-
Across from Cut to the Chase, diagonal from Fishbones is also in the neighborhood. It's like, you know, you have to have those few little landmarks in town that people are familiar with.
Yes, Fishbones is doing great in the center, apparently.
They are.
Well, thanks, Roberta. Joe, maybe if we could talk to everybody else for a minute or two. Our time is running out. Joe, so how about the real estate business right now? You say it's going pretty well for
Yeah, it's going
single-family
fantastic.
homes and condos.
Yep.
And I heard apartments are going like crazy, too, still in Chelmsford, right?
Yeah, everything. I'll tell you, Chelmsford's a desirable community just because of all the amenities and the features and the fact that we have sewerage. So, and it's also very close to all the industry down on 128. So we get a lot of people, believe it or not, a lot of people come from Arlington, move to Chelmsford.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
they love the Westlands because it kind of reminds them of, like, you know, it's got small lots and have a whole lot to take care of, but they get more housing for their value. So Chelmsford's been a good community to sell in for that reason, easy sell. Not a whole lot of inventory out there, so if somebody's looking to, you know, sell their house, they can go to our website, readyre.com, or they can call us 978-256-3335. Or they can email me at joe@readyre.com. We'd be happy to give them a free market analysis, tell them what their home is worth. Or if you're a buyer and you want to go out and look for a house and see what's on the market, we're happy to show you homes in the area and, see what would fit your needs. So we kind of play professional matchmaker on both sides.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, nice. So Joe, are you happy with the business? It's been 4 years now, right?
Yeah,
You've
I'm
had
very
Ready
happy.
Real Estate.
I'll tell you, I got in when everybody was trying to get out, and now people are starting to come back in, which tells me that things are starting to really pick up again. A lot of homeowners are very happy that they're getting more for their houses than they were a couple of years ago. People don't feel as sullen about where they are in the market. So people are able to move. A lot of people that have lost money in their condos, those condo values have gone up, so now they're able to get out of there, get into the single family home, move their kids, and so that's been helpful. I think that's helping the market tremendously.
Wonderful.
So.
Well, thanks, Joe.
Absolutely.
Steve, anything else we could talk about? Do you want to talk a
Well,
little about the
just
Affordable
give you
Care
my-
Act
give-
or anything? Or, okay, we
You know,
could
the
talk
affordable-
about the.
One of the things that you have to look at with all of the things that's going on with the Affordable Care Act and all the sound bites you hear and the headlines you hear, if you know the story behind it, you'll find that the headline is very dramatic and it really doesn't portray, if you want to call it the truth in advertising. I'll give you one quick example. We surpassed supposedly the 7 million mark of people signing up under the Affordable Care Act. Yeah. But what that doesn't tell you is 6 million of those people already had health coverage. They lost that health coverage because the contract they had did not suffice or did not have all the features it needed to have to be a benefit, the benefits that the Affordable Care Act has put in. And insurance companies don't modify the current contract, they get rid of it and they give you a new one. So just like in Massachusetts, everyone that was on the Health Connector, when they did their commercials, you heard them they didn't come right out and jump down you, but they said, if you're currently a member, you'll need to re-enroll. Well, that basically meant we're canceling your old policy. If you want to keep coverage after January 1, you needed to re-enroll. They counted all those re-enrolls as part of the 7 million.
Yes.
So really, it only went up about 1 million people, or 1.2 million, which is still it's a good amount of people, but it wasn't the 7 million new people that didn't have coverage before. Now, most of their coverages are better than they were before, but they're paying a price for that being better.
Well, you being an expert on insurance, health insurance, Steve, do you think this was a good idea, the Affordable Care Act?
Well, we had a lot of it here in Massachusetts. 2007, Massachusetts went through its own, and supposedly that's what they modeled a lot of the national after. It hasn't affected my business in any great way, up or down. There's a lot more education that and I love to do that. I love to do the employee meetings. I love to do presentations in front of employers. That's what gets me going because everyone's different. I'm not doing the same thing every day. Every day is different. But it's helping the employers and the employees understand what they now need to comply with to be compliant on all these things.
Do you think we should have gone to a single payer system like Canada or whatever? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Single payer won't work. Not here. We have more people coming down from Canada to get health care here, and they have a whole second set. England the same way. Have a whole second set of insurance that you buy privately on top of the government plan. So if you want to get a bypass done in the next month instead of 7 months, you buy extra insurance, you go to the head of the line.
Yeah, yes.
And again, it becomes the have and the have-nots.
Yes.
So I don't think a single payer here system will work. Before that could ever happen, you'd have to get the American Hospital Association on board, the American Medical Association on board, and they're not looking to give up money, and they'd have to get big money.
Yeah.
They already are on a lot of the reimbursement levels, but they're not going to give up that kind of money.
Yes, thanks,
Okay.
Steve. Well, Cathy, as I mentioned before, Cathy is the owner of Rufina's on Concord Road. Do you want to give out a website or
Yeah,
anything,
sure.
or phone number?
We're, it's Rufina's Italian restaurant. We're located at 170 Concord Road in Chelmsford, Mass. We're south of the center, about a mile and a half south of the center. The website's www.rufinas.com, and we're also on Facebook, so like us on Facebook if you'd like. And any questions, just call the restaurant, 978-256-1250, and we'd be happy to help.
Thanks. So, is there anything else we could talk to you about in terms of your business? That is the food. How about, do you ever watch the Food Network, or do you,
all
do
the
you
time.
do you get new recipes?
All the time.
Or do you have a full-time chef too, or no? Right
No,
now?
that's
Oh.
pretty much me now.
wow.
Yeah, and I do. Food Network. My other half likes to investigate. He buys magazines all the time. Says, "Why don't you try this?" You know, so like,
Does
why
your
don't you come out
husband
and
come
try?
in too? Or your-
Fiance, but
fiance?
he's the other partner there. He's a silent partner unless I ask him to go do some errands. But other than
Yeah.
that, it keeps us happy that way that he's not there all the time. But no, he's a great guy, and he's put up with a lot with these going on 3 years of
It's been,
the restaurant
it's hard,
business.
right?
It's
I
a
heard
lot of
that
work.
opening a restaurant is one of the toughest things that somebody could do. Is that, did you ever hear that? Or you know, but.
Yeah, I
no,
mean, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours, and you
Lot of
have to
hours,
be
yeah.
there. If you're not there, then you don't know what's going on, and it's one of those things.
yeah. Do you change the menu often, or do you pretty much
We
keep the
change
same?
it. I mean, we do daily specials, so it changes. The specials change just about every evening, and the menu changes on occasion every 6-8 months. So not the whole thing, but we change. Like for summer, or we're getting ready to switch it up a little bit now to some lighter fare, just because the cream sauces. Bathing suit season's coming. People don't want all the cream sauces. So.
And just to, about the lunch thing, did you ever think of opening Monday through Friday for lunches?
Yeah,
or?
it's just
Just as a-
there isn't as much interest in coming out that direction as there used to be. So you're trying to drive at least the dinner business where
Yeah.
where the
And
money
the
is.
dinner makes up well, and people sometimes buy more drinks at dinner
Oh,
than,
yeah.
say, at lunch,
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Thank you, Cathy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. So anything else we could talk about before we leave, Allison, about your business? Cut to the chase, moving in Chelmsford Center this month in April. You should be open in about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yes.
And anything else we could say about it, or?
I could talk for days about it.
Are you excited about the new location?
I'm very excited. I think it's going to be, fabulous.
Yeah.
It's going to be wonderful. It's, I feel very blessed to have the opportunity to go into such a beautiful building and have a wonderful landlord, Dennis Harrington. He's been very gracious. And
Dennis Harrington, is he related to John Harrington?
John's brother, yes.
Oh, really? He's the landlord. Nice.
They've owned the building since 1947.
Wow, wonderful.
Their family has, yes.
Wonderful.
Used to be Page's Drugstore.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
So
that
we
one-
have the original cabinetry. It's mahogany. It's beautiful.
Oh,
where they used to
nice.
have, all the prescriptions and everything, and they had a big soda jerk. And so
Nice.
there's a lot of original pieces in there. There's a tin ceiling, and this is
Wow.
beautiful. The door is beautiful with this beautiful window. It's like a little half moon shape. And
What? Are you going to leave the front windows open so I could look in when I drive by in the
Oh,
center there?
yeah,
Or
definitely.
are you going to have a grand opening?
we are going to have a grand opening. Just because we haven't opened yet,
Yeah.
We don't have a set date, but it
Oh,
will be
okay.
in May, and you'll
In
get
May.
an invitation. and
Wonderful.
everyone will be welcome.
Well,
and
I'm
it'll be
hoping
open
to
the
stop
public.
by
and-
and say hello and see what
Definitely.
this. So you have all these antique, some pieces in there, the tin ceiling you said or something, the old mahogany cabinets, nice.
Yes.
Oh my God, our time has run out. I can't believe it. So thank you, Allison.
you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Joe.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you very
Thank you.
much,
Thank you.
Cathy from Rufina's, Joe from Ready Real Estate, Roberta Witts from Picture Yourself! Exclamation point.
Thank you.
That's a great place.
Thank
Right
you.
in the center. And thank you, Steve Mallette.
Thank you for having me back on.
Oh, my pleasure. Your 13th time, so it worked out well so far. That's your lucky number.
It is.
Thank you very much. Your first time, Allison
Yes.
Chase Bartolini. Is that right?
It's like tortellini, but with a B.
Wonderful. So I got it right, right?
Yeah, that's
Oh
how
my
I
God.
describe it, yes.
I love that name too, right? Bartolini. It's a beautiful,
My
beautiful
husband
name.
will love to hear that.
Oh, it's
yeah.
great. Yeah. And how long have you been married now, by the way?
It'll be 4 years, October
Wow.
10th. We got married 10/10/10.
Really? That's fantastic. Well, thank
Easy
you.
to remember.
Thank you, Allison. It's a
Thank
great
you.
idea to
Thank
have this
you.
another small business show.
You're
I'll be having
welcome.
many more of them in the future because one thing I like to do is help promote our local small businesses.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate
and
it.
it's so interesting too, the struggles that you have or the ideas and what it's like to own a business. Thank you very much, this wonderful crew, George and Azora and Larry and the director, Pete Padula. If you have any comments, please send me an email at tcristiano@comcast.net. Ciao.